Are there any other manifesting tips that you have for people who are listening? Because I think, I know we've talked about a lot, but let's go deeper. What else can you give us?
Okay. Well, it's funny because I know we're using the word manifestation right now, and I know that this audience aligns with it, but I oftentimes like don't even use that word because a lot of people can think, oh, it's too new agey. Oh, you're just thinking that you're going to think something and it's going to magically appear. Like this stuff is real. Like this is so real that science proves it. Quantum physics, like energy, we don't know what the real rules of the universe are. It's not simple for our human minds. So it's so interesting to do these experiments with yourself because then you just really see this new way of how the world works. Like my whole perception of how the world works has completely changed. It's gone belly up. Like I now deeply believe that my energy creates my life, and bad things can happen to me for sure, but my response to them is 50% of the outcome of what happens to me. So I'm still in control of how it affects me. So going to more manifestation tips, gosh, so really just to simplify it down, if you have all this information from everywhere you're looking and you're like, I just want to transform my life, what do I do? There's this very simple 2-step process that I talk about. And the first step is clarity. And the second step is becoming. I spoke about this earlier. So just to get very, very nitty gritty on it. Before creating your dream life in 2025, you first need to get crystal clear on what this looks like. Like you can't just generally think, oh, okay, I kind of want to make more money or I kind of want this. You need to get very clear about the person that has those things very specifically. So the first step is clarity. You need to understand deeply who your future self is, what your future self has, the life that they live, how they feel about themselves every day, how they dress, how they hold themselves. Very clear on your future self, okay? How it feels to be them. You need to get clear on your future self frequency, which is the baseline frequency energy that your future self experiences and lives in every single day. And that, bringing it back to lifelines, that will help you select the lifeline in real time that you desire. So the first step is clarity, and how to get that. Journaling has been a massive part of my journey. Just putting pen to paper, writing. You don't need anything. You can just free write and put all distractions away. So many of us are so addicted to our phones and technology. Put your phone on airplane mode or turn it off completely. Lock yourself in a room and just figure it out. Like write. Get really intimate with yourself and just write and get clear. And if you need a bit more guidance, you can use journal prompts. We actually have a whole writing activation category on the Activations app, and that's all guided journaling prompts that you can listen to with music to get you into that state. And we have specifically ones on creating your future self. So if you need clarity, that's support there. And then the phase 2 of this 2 steps to transformation is becoming. You must embody this future self version of you before any of it manifests, before it happens. This is the sacred phase 2 of this 2-step process, okay? You need to become in everyday moments, become with your eyes open, with your eyes closed, become when you are on the bus going to work, become when you're brushing your teeth in the morning. Feel it. And when you become it, you feel it. When you become it, your self-image changes, your personality changes. You become who you want to be. And the beautiful thing about the becoming phase is that you get to taste your future in real time, in the present moment before it happens. So you're enjoying the process. It's not like you're killing yourself and waiting to be happy to get that dream job or waiting to feel abundant, to have that more money. You're literally living in it now. So you're enjoying yourself now and you're enjoying yourself then. And it's crazy because while enjoying yourself now, you're manifesting it closer and closer to you in your life. So how good is that? I want to select that reality for myself. And sure, you can do it manually. You can do it like everyone else and do it the hard way and, feel treacherously like waking up in the morning early and hating and using discipline and hating waking up and doing a morning routine and hating, the whole process of transformation and hating yourself throughout you can do that. It's not the way I want to do it. And I've done both. And guess which one works faster? My way.
Yeah, totally. I'm curious, what is your daily or weekly routine? Like, what are the habits or activities that you're constantly doing to make sure that your energy is right? So I guess I'm assuming activations is a big part of it, but you mentioned journaling. Like, give us the package. What is the starter kit for your routine?
I'm not strict at all. I used to be so much more strict. I have seen such big growth in my life since I've stopped making all these intense rules. All I focus on is one thing. It's becoming. Because when I act and I become my future self, like I told you earlier in the episode, I feel like my future self. And I naturally just trust that she's going to make the decisions that are right for me. So, for example, I just went for lunch with a friend, and my future self naturally loves vitality and health, and she wants to live a long, healthy life. So I'm choosing the meal that aligns with those goals. Sure, there was maybe a burger or mac and cheese on the menu, and I'm not looking at those things like, oh, I wish I could have that. No, I just naturally, intuitively want those things that are good for me. I'm with a friend and we're talking about business opportunities, perhaps. Like I have this confidence to say, hey, like, what if we do this thing together? Or, I have this confidence of being able to say the things that my future self would say because I am my future self. So, to answer your question, I think back years ago, I would have been like, oh, I do this morning routine and I have this 10-step process. And I did a lot of those things, and they work for sure, but it felt a bit too forceful. And I've realized that, again, simplifying the whole process of transformation, the best thing that you can do is just embody your future self and then just act like her.
Yeah.
So you'll make these decisions and you really have this intuition, and guess what? If I wanted to have the mac and cheese today because I was in my late luteal phase and I was just feeling it, I would do it. And I would be like, okay, amazing. But I know that there's this consistency when it comes with being your future self, and you just act a certain way. You feel passionate about the work you do. You know that you're moving in the right direction. Like this morning, I got an email with some bad news, like not terrible news, but just for work, like there was something annoying that happened. And I thought to myself, oh, I read this first thing in the morning. I could allow these negative emotions to kind of fill me for the next few hours, or I could just trust the universe and trust that that wasn't meant to happen. And I can just feel okay about that. And I know that my life is moving in this beautiful direction, so I can have faith in that. So I guess, to give people more tangible tips, because I know that we definitely want that as well. But I wanted to be honest and say that for me, it used to be a lot more about the routines and now it's not anymore. And I've noticed more growth since just focusing on feeling. I was doing another podcast this morning, and in the car there, I just listened to 3 activations. And there's one that's been really changing my energy lately.
What's it called?
Embody magnetic manifestation energy. And it's one of our anytime activations. So I just listened to it 3 times. So those are the 3 activations I did. I am weird. I get really obsessed with one and then I move on to the next. So I was listening to that one 3 times in a row during my long
Wow.
car ride. And I felt like high after the first one. And I was like, oh, I want that again. It's very addictive in a very
Yeah.
positive way. So I was just embodying this energy. And that was like my energetic routine of the morning. I, was listening to great music in the morning while I was getting ready. I wasn't even listening to an activation. But then in the car, I was like, okay, I want to really step in now. And I listened to this one 3 times. And the music was, oh my God, I actually went for lunch yesterday with the composer that created a lot of the new music that we're using. And he's this composer for movies.
Oh,
and this
nice.
music, it's like big energy, orchestral and cinematic, and it really makes you feel a certain beautiful, transformative way. And I felt just so tuned in with my future self. I just became her, and I've been riding that wave since this morning. And that was about 5 hours ago. So
No, I love that. I mean, I think maybe in the beginning of the journey, like in someone's personal growth journey, you need more like habits and routines. But I feel like for you, it's become like muscle memory. Like you already know who your future self is. So it's just about becoming her. But I think someone earlier in the journey, you got to maybe figure out who's your future self.
I will say that when you amend and change your self-image, think about it like the core of an onion. If your self-image is the middle of an onion, every other layer on top is influenced by the self-image. But if you change one of the outside layers, it's really hard to actually, for example, let's say one of the outside layers is habits, okay, or routines. If you just try to manually change your routine without ever addressing the self-image first, it's going to be quite hard for you to stay consistent. So I actually believe that all you need to do is first change the self-image, and then all those other things naturally start to change. So for example, if you don't identify as someone that journals every morning, it's going to be really hard for you to pick up your journal and journal in the morning. I personally love journaling. I have my journal. Where is it? It's right there next to my bed in this hotel room I'm in. And I've journaled. I've been in LA here for almost a week. I've journaled twice because it came from inspired. I knew the feeling I had that I wanted to do, and I did it. But, it's all about changing your self-image first. And I do identify as a journaler. I do identify as someone who does Pilates 4 or 5 times a week. Like, there are things that I do that are habits and routines, but I don't see them as, okay, I need to check this off my list. It's just simply what I do because of the person I am.
It's like knowing the identity first, and everything flows from
Yes.
there.
And to get clarity on that, you want to journal, you want to get clear. I think putting pen to paper is very important. I guess other routines that are aligned with my self-image, to give you a bit more tangible information here, journaling, obviously, and limiting screen time is a really big one for me. I have this whole theory where you're either doing things that numb you or make you feel alive. And the things that numb you are like overeating, drinking, drugs, mindless scrolling on social media, anything that helps you disassociate or numb out. And when you numb out, time goes by very quickly. On the contrary, when you're feeling alive, AKA when you're meditating or activating or working out or having a beautiful, deep conversation with someone and feeling very present, and you're just very here now, alive, listening to a beautiful song, like really activations were created to give you that feeling of aliveness. This is why I'm so obsessed with them, because I love feeling alive. And when you're feeling alive, time goes by so slowly, and you're really embracing life and just embracing this beautiful one chance that we have on this planet. I've realized I actually haven't been on social media in 6 months. I went on quickly the other day just to post an update, but I'm back off. Like, I'm kind of in this phase of my life where I don't like mindless scrolling. I don't like being online as much. I want to be present. I want to be mindful. I want to be with my, fiance and my dog, and have great long phone conversations with my dad. Like, I really just love being alive. And you can't really have both at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think the lack of social media, especially in the morning, especially before bed, everyone has heard this. And even if you don't want to delete social media off your phone forever, like, why don't you just delete it from Friday to Monday? Why don't you just have your weekends for you to live? And that's something I feel very passionate about. I love having a coffee in the morning and reading a book. Right now, I'm rereading an amazing book called Reality Transurfing, and it's all about different lifelines and how you can select them with your energy. It's written by a quantum physicist from Russia. I like to just learn things, and I think curiosity is very beautiful. And when you stop being online as much and you do things that make you feel more alive, you're doing things like creative things. I've started painting when I'm at home. I love reading. I want to take up knitting. Like, I know it sounds kind of lame, but I love that.
Yeah, you're finding ways to just find joy without numbing yourself all the time, which so many people do. So I thought that was a really great tip to share.